Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
This woman sends me a direct message out of the blue, and she was like, "Oh, I'm his ex-girlfriend and we slept together 4 months into your relationship."
Is that true?
Yes.
In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. You want him to pay $628.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, knock my socks off. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. The law talks about something may in fact be true, but can they prove it? And that's what's tough.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Holly McLeod claims her ex-boyfriend's shoddy craftsmanship caused her son's Soapbox Derby car to crash and says he should pay for the repairs. Ms. McLeod is suing Felix Altman in the amount of $500.
All rise, remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties been sworn, Your Honor.
Third, good up to Thomas. Ms. McLeod, you feel as though you're entitled to this $500. Apparently there was an issue with a box car.
Yes, my son was part of the Soapbox Derby recently.
How old is your son?
My son's 10 years old.
And his name?
His name's Ben.
Ben.
Yeah.
All right, you and Ben are together, and at some point you met Mr. Altman.
Yeah, I met Mr. Altman online dating. It took a pretty long time before I decided to introduce him to my son.
Okay. And Mr. Altman, you were interested in Ms. McLeod?
Yes, we share the same hobbies, pretty much soapbox racing, trading cards, video games.
Oh, you're into all that as well?
We used to play D&D together, so.
You used to play what?
Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, sounds like a match made in heaven. And what happened to cause there to be a rift?
Well, about a little over a year into our relationship.
You had been together for a year?
Yes.
Okay, so things were moving along swimmingly.
Yes,
Okay.
I had introduced him to my son. They started building.
You initially didn't want him to meet your son?
No, I was very careful about who I introduced to my child. My husband passed away when Ben was 3. He was killed by a drunk driver.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I've just been careful since then. You never know who you're bringing into your home.
Well, were you ready to move on from your deceased husband?
I wasn't until I met Felix.
Okay.
Or at least I
And what was
thought.
it about Mr. Altman that made you feel like, okay, I can give this a shot?
He was different than a lot of the guys I'd met.
Mr. Altman, you actually worked with Ben and helped him build a soapbox that he was going to participate in some sort of race, correct?
Right.
Talk to me about that.
Once we were finished with the soapbox, she had then taken a picture of us, and she had posted on her social media.
A picture of you and Ben posed next to the
soapbox race.
Okay.
Racer.
And you
Next to
posted that
Soapbox
online.
Racer.
I did. I tagged him in it. I thought it was really cute. I was absolutely thrilled. I was delighted. And then this woman sends me a direct message out of the blue because she saw it and she was like, "Oh, I'm his ex-girlfriend and we slept together 4 months into your relationship."
Is that true?
Yes. So my ex is Gina. We had met each other some time back, years back. We would, hold on. So yes, my ex Gina, we met each other.
You're a little nervous.
Yes.
Okay, I understand. Part of it is because you got busted.
Right, pretty much.
And you were probably a little embarrassed.
Right.
And you didn't tell Miss McLeod about Gina.
Yes, I was hoping that it's something that I could just forget, just leave it behind.
What ended up happening, because you were in this relationship with Miss McLeod, you like her.
Right.
You like Ben, right? Were you thinking this could be somebody that I have a long
Yes, I was hoping this is something that I can build a relationship of some sort of family together.
Well, then how did you end up coming in contact with Gina?
What it was is we were just some sort of connection in the bar was what it was.
Oh, you weren't planning on meeting her. You end up seeing her at a bar.
Yeah.
And then one thing leads to another.
Right. But it was just,
And next thing you know, she's coming over to your place or you're going to her place?
No, what happened was we were drunk at the bar.
I understand.
And she offers to drive me home. And so, as far as I can remember, I was in my bed, but I don't remember much of what happened.
And Gina was also in your bed?
Yes.
Yeah.
She was also in the bed as well.
You obviously confront Mr. Altman.
Yeah, of course.
He doesn't deny it.
No, he didn't deny it. He came clean. He told me what had happened, but he had lied to me or hidden it for months. So what am I supposed to think after that? I broke it off with him after that. I told him I didn't want him seeing Ben or I again. I thought it was reasonable enough. I didn't want another major disappointment in Ben's life. This was going to be bad enough. So I told Ben that he was moving for work, and I just didn't want to see him near my home.
But then we've got this whole issue of the soapbox derby coming up. Mm-hmm. You're really upset about this.
Well, I was hoping I can at least watch him race. I didn't expect any sort of accident to actually happen.
Coming up on America's Court.
And in the third heat.
And in the third heat, one of the wheels came off and he spun out and an axle broke and the body of the car itself cracked. I was horrified.
And later.
When I was out of town on a business trip, she moved in with her boyfriend and just took Marcos, stole the dog, and now I don't have a dog anymore.
Steal is a very strong word.
I don't have a dog anymore. I won't be able to have it back.
Closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Holly McLeod, who is suing Felix Altman for property damage.
The issue is something happened to the soapbox.
Yes. So the soapbox actually ended up breaking in the final heat. And in the third heat, one of the wheels came off and he spun out and an axle broke and the body of the car itself cracked. I was horrified, of course, but Ben was not hurt, thank God.
And you're suing Mr. Altman because you feel as though he provided shoddy work for the soapbox.
Yeah, I do. This was a project.
And the $500 represents what? The cost?
The cost, this would have been the same amount he'd spend in labor and materials to fix it either way. I didn't want to be around.
I mean, how do you itemize that $500? How does that break down?
Oh, I actually have this right here.
That, yes.
Thank you.
You want him to pay for, let's see. Did you pay Mr. Altman $500 for the soapbox?
No, I paid that to a hobby shop that ended up repairing it for me. I didn't want to speak to him again, but
okay.
I also...
You want him to pay the cost that you had to incur getting someone else to repair it?
Yes.
How much did he charge you to build it?
He didn't initially charge me.
Did he charge you anything for the supplies?
The supplies ended up being, what, $150, $200
Who
in
paid
total.
for the supplies, Mr. Altman?
Just me.
Okay, so you built it with your free labor, and you went and got all the supplies for it.
Yes.
And you still want him to pay $500?
Look, he...
No, not
no,
look. That's not a good. That's not a good
my apologies.
exchange. Go ahead.
My apologies. He caused us both emotional and then financial damage. I couldn't say no to letting Ben go another round.
What was the financial damage you sustained? If you got the soapbox for free to begin with?
Well, it was the $500 at the end. He got Ben's hopes up.
What was the $500? You're saying he got his hopes up in terms of what? Winning the soapbox?
In terms of the next round of the soapbox derby.
And had he won that, then what?
I'm sure he just would have had a wonderful time.
He came in first, the 2 of the 3 heaps, and didn't end up doing well the third. He had a good experience. You want Mr. Altman to pay this money. Okay. Mr. Altman, anything you want to answer?
Well, yes. Holly, I am sorry for what I have done to you and to Ben, but I would like for you to take me back. More specifically, I would like for maybe to marry you or at least be engaged for a couple years. Or
I was not expecting all of this.
I moved because I was expecting something totally different.
Felix, I can't marry you right now.
It's all here.
Just stand up, please.
Okay. I have nothing to add here. I'm just like, I'm gobsmacked like everybody else. All right, Mr. Altman.
I love you, and I love having you in my life, and Ben loves having you in our life. And I want to be with you, but I cannot marry you until I am sure you can make a commitment. I don't want to be intimate with you for a year, and I want you to stop drinking. I don't think that's a lot to ask. Can you do that for me?
Yeah, I can. Yes, I can, for anything. For you, anything.
Thank you.
Okay, they're killing me here. They're killing me.
So what are we doing later?
I don't even know why I'm here at this point.
All right. Why don't you guys come back so we can
Why don't you go to your
wrap this
respective
up.
positions and based on the evidence and the testimony before this court.
Yeah.
Because we're here for the legal issues here, not all this mushy stuff. The gavel is going to come down in favor of the defendant. There is no expectation as it relates to these costs that this was some sort of contractual thing where you didn't get the benefit of your bargain. Now, having said that, I would think it would be in your best interest to somehow reimburse her for the cost that she incurred, especially if you are looking at having this type of relationship with her.
Yeah.
Otherwise, though, this matter's dismissed. Best of luck to you both.
Thank you.
Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
Today was great, and I'm happy to give Felix another chance.
I feel great. I'm glad she still loves me.
Coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
We both kind of split the responsibilities. I would take it for walks in the morning, but then she slacked off, like when she had to work late or whatever.
I feel like slacked off is a strong word. I had to work late sometimes, not like I was just off doing whatever.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Samantha Fairbrooks claims she adopted a dog with her former roommate and says the defendant stole the animal when she moved out. Ms. Fairbrooks is suing Nicole Hearn in the amount of $350.
Ms. Fairbrooks, talk to me. There's a dispute over a dog.
Yes, my former roommate and I co-adopted a dog together.
Now wait, when you say co-adopted,
Yes.
it was a rescue?
Yes, it was from a shelter.
Okay. Was there any conversation about, okay, if this doesn't work out, or if one of us decides to get our own place, or whatever else?
We actually never discussed that information.
What's the dog's name?
Marcos.
Marcos.
Yeah.
What type of dog is it?
It's a Maltipoo.
Was there a fee involved in the exchanging of the dog?
Yes, there was an adoption fee of
How much was the fee?
$150.
Who paid for that?
We split it.
You both split it $75?
Well, I actually paid for all of it because she didn't have the money at the time, and then she paid me back for
All right,
half
so you
of the
split it.
dog. Yeah.
And something happens.
Yes, I take it to the vet. I take it upon myself to pay for the whole vet bill.
How much would you say you paid in vet bills?
It was $350 at that time.
$350. And Ms. Hearns, you didn't pay any of that?
I didn't, but later on I did actually pay for all of the food. She didn't pay for any of it any longer.
You said she didn't pay any longer. Was she initially paying for food, and then at some point she
before
stopped?
she got her promotion at her job,
Yes.
we both kind of split the responsibilities. I would take it for walks in the morning, but then she slacked off, like when she had to work late or whatever.
I feel like slacked off is a strong word. I had to work late sometimes, not like I was just off doing whatever. I was at work.
So at some point, the dog is now a source of contention between the two of you because you had to move or something? Is that what happened?
No, I got a promotion, and so I was working more, traveling more, and then eventually Nicole decided to move in with her boyfriend.
And
When I was out of town on a business trip, she moved in with her boyfriend and just took Marcos, stole the dog, and now I don't have a dog anymore.
Steal is a very strong word.
I don't have a dog anymore. I won't be able to have it back.
Coming up on America's Court.
Why can't the ownership be split with you having the bulk of the time with the dog? Why can't she have the dog on the weekends?
I don't feel like she's in a place in her life that she can handle the responsibility.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Samantha Fairbrooks, who is suing Nicole Hearn for property loss.
You didn't have a conversation with her saying, okay, I think I should take the dog because you're busy, you're not really taking care of it.
We never had the conversation, but through her actions.
That's odd to me.
Well,
why wouldn't you have she's right there. Did you guys end on bad terms? Was it your ex-boyfriend that she's with now? I mean, why is there not a conversation about, okay, what's gonna happen with the dog because I'm moving out? Because as soon as you knew she was moving out, you had to have thought, what's going to happen with the dog?
Just like you split custody of a child, I thought.
So the dog be with her Monday through Friday, with you on the weekends? Why can't the ownership be split with you having the bulk of the time with the dog? Why can't she have the dog on the weekends?
I don't feel like she's in a place in her life that she can handle the responsibility.
Where I'm befuddled is, why wasn't there conversation about it?
I mean, I wasn't even planning on taking the dog when I was moving, but I was already watching the dog. She was out of town.
Because the way that you did it, it was sneaky. And that's what I think is leaving you a little salty.
Yeah. I think Nicole is just not good at communicating.
Did you already know that?
I think she's not great with confrontation or telling me what she wants or needs.
Did you already know that?
I did.
Okay, then her actions weren't surprising then.
She did, but you didn't communicate either. So if you were better at communication than I was, then you would have reached out. If you're the one that
That's a very good point.
You're making assumptions
if you're the stronger with the communication, and she's moving out, and you know that disproportionately she's taking care of the dog, and you split the purchase of the dog, is the dog's best interest what you're thinking about, or are you simply thinking about you?
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. Promotional consideration provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
Do you have a picture of the dog or anything? Normally people bring a photo or something.
I have a picture.
I was like, let me look at Marcos. Let me look and see who Marcos is better suited with. Sometimes you can just sort of tell. Oh, look at Marcos. How recent was this picture taken?
A few months ago.
The dog gives me this impression based on one of you spending a disproportionate amount of attention on the dog. And I think we know who that one person is. So based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel's going to come down in favor of the defendant in this case. I believe that it's in Marcos' best interest to stay with Miss Hearn. That's going to be the order. And you'll be okay. Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
I'm so happy that Marcos now can stay with me in my home. Maybe I could work out something with Samantha where she can see him once in a while.
I'm heartbroken that I lost custody of the dog, but hopefully Nicole will let me see Marcos on the weekends.
Follow America's Court on Facebook and Twitter. This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.